Hi folks, it's Di again. I'm going to do a video that is more or less an update to the Turtle Project, okay? Um, for all you folks that saw the Turtle Project video, I have a large snapping turtle shell that I've asked my viewers to give me some suggestions on what I should do with it. What can I turn it into? What are some of the ideas the folks out there have? And I got a lot of responses. I'm amazed. Love it. It's great. Thanks everybody for throwing their 2 cents in. You gave me so many different possibilities and ideas that I'm at a loss at which one I'm going to apply to this shell. But in this video, I want to go over some of those ideas with you folks and kind of have a little discussion about some of these ideas and see where I take it from here, and start working on a project. If not 2 projects, we'll see what happens. But what I've done is I've taken all of the comments and I put them into a document so I can track what people suggested and make it easier for me to digest all these different ideas. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to go through these and one by one go through the ideas that were submitted, and so that you all know without having to read all the comments to try to catch up on them. So let's get started on it. Okay, my turtle project. What am I going to do with this shell? And as the comments came in, the suggestions, I put them on this sheet in the order in which they came in, okay? And I'm going to go down through that. There's many. I don't know, maybe 20. Very good ideas. So we're going to get started here. Denali said, very simple, pack frame with a question mark. A pack frame. That's got me kind of curious. And I got to thinking about it. Maybe what I could do is, if I found a nice piece of canvas, I could drill holes or use an awl and punch holes through the outer rim of the shell, say from the 2 outside corners of the top of the shell all the way down around it, and lace in a piece of canvas with straps and make a backpack out of it. Use it as the frame for a backpack. It's got me thinking. I can see how that could be a possibility. I wish the shell was a little larger, but it may make a nice small day pack. Okay, and then Emberado Smithing and Woodcraft. His suggestion was real interesting, and it's very applicable to the time of year. He says, he said a bushcraft bowl, using it for a bowl. You know, finish it up and seal it and use it as a bowl. He also said maybe make it into a costume for the kids for Halloween. There we go, October. And of course he says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Not a bad idea. That's the real thing, isn't it? For one of the smaller kids, I could see how you could actually apply that, and people would be quite interested with the fact that that's a real shell that kid's got on his back. So that is a very interesting idea. And it applies to the kids. You know, I've involved the kids in this whole turtle processing project, and it's nice because it applies to the kids. The next one is, and some of these are repetitive. So it's nice because for most of these people, they did not look at all the other comments. They just stated what was in their minds to use it for, which is good. That's the way I like it. Is it shows their individual thought process in what they think we should use it for. This Basha Dweller, it's Basha Dweller, says a collection basket for foraging. And that's Sean from that channel. And yes, I mean, I can see how you can rather easily make that into a basket for when you're out foraging for wild edibles or almost anything you might go out to forage, to have a basket made out of it for carrying those items back into camp. Very good idea. Danny Walker says, the only thing I can think of is make some or a bunch of guitar picks out of them. And he kind of chuckles there. And I can see that. The material, that the composition of that turtle shell, I can see how you could make guitar picks out of it. Now I'm thinking the chest plate portion of the turtle, which I don't have with me right now. I've got it back at my sty shack, which on October 24th, I'll be going home for a couple of days and then coming back here. I might grab that chest plate portion of the shell and look at that, and I think that actually the chest plate portion would make excellent guitar picks. Another very good idea. Here's one from Clark Jameson. He's from Scotland. And it says, we don't have turtles in Scotland, but in the winter we have plenty of snow. It says, try boiling it up to make it a bit more supple, then flatten it out, and it says to flatten it out a bit, make yourself a wooden handle, and you've got yourself a turtle snow shovel. Now, I really like that idea. I was looking at that shell and I was thinking, you could make a camp shovel out of that shell. I can see how if you were to all in or drill in maybe 8 holes on each side down the center, lay a pole in it, lash that pole to it, and you'd have a really nice, just the shape it is, you'd have a really nice scoop shovel. I don't know how durable it may be, but it would make a nice scoop shovel. And you could shovel snow with it. You could shovel ashes out of your fire pit with it. You could, if the ground is soft enough, you could actually use it for shoveling out a latrine. I can think of quite a few things you could use it as a shovel for. So making it into a shovel is a really good idea. It's a bushcrafty, very bushcraft style frame of mind. Convert it into a tool. Okay. So that was from Clark Jameson over in Scotland. Now, here's the next one. Philip Carter says make a clock out of it and hang it on the wall. Now, that's always a good idea. friend of mine makes a lot of wooden clocks and decoupages, beautiful outdoor pictures to them. Um, beautiful, beautiful clocks. He uses natural wood, um, different pieces of driftwood and wood that he's gathered out in the woods, just unusual looking stuff, and makes clocks out of it. That would make a pretty neat clock. It actually would. So from Philip Carter, that's a very good idea. Okay, now this one, he doesn't get any special consideration, of course. It's from Donnie Running Water. Okay, if anybody's watched my older videos and they watched the Sty story, Running Water, they know who this person is. It's my oldest son, and that was his nickname when we lived out in the Western Rockies, Running Water. He said, he sent me a message saying I'd turn it into a guitar or a mandolin. Okay, take the chest plate, make some picks out of it, take the shell and make a guitar or a mandolin out of it. I hate to say it, good idea. I am not a talented instrument builder. He is. He makes guitars and mandolins and ukuleles out of cigar boxes, well, out of almost anything. I would have to probably solicit him for his assistance in building such a thing. The problem being is my oldest son drives over the road truck. He just left on another tour of duty over the road, and he'll be gone for 6 weeks. So I don't know that I want to wait 6 weeks just to get him started on a project to help me out here. So we'll see, we'll see. Maybe he can coach me into making it into a guitar or a mandolin. We'll see. The next one from Stella. Now Stella, she's great. She comments so much on my channel, and she's a very supportive, wonderful person. And she said, maybe you could make it into a simple basket for gathering edibles from the woods. And then she chuckles and says, or a turtle mask. And she goes, LOL, not really. Well, the turtle mask goes back to Halloween, that right time of the year, right? But the simple basket for gathering edibles in the woods, again, is a very good idea. And very simple. It's something very simple you could do. And it would be durable, and it would last for a long time. And it is quite large. You could gather an awful lot in that. Berry picking, you could fill that thing with probably 3 quarts of berries or more. So that's a very good idea. Okay, from Winter Wolf, it says, it says Sty. So I looked up turtles in Indian lore and designs for shells. Cherokee Indians used the shells as 3 things. Smaller ones were utilized in children's toys. Rattles and larger, such as rattles, and larger ones were used with the shaman in medicine uses, and a tool used to create dyes, medicinal items, and also used for bowls or tools for water and cooking. Also, the turtle represents longevity, health, and prosperity. You can use your skills and apply a decorative concept to the body or shell for art. And it just says, good luck, friend, and have a great week. Well, Winter Wolf's he's got some good ideas going there. And I worked with Native Americans for 23 years. Um, very involved with actually three different tribes. And I've seen many applications of turtle shells in their culture. Um, and I've told myself, don't go there, let my viewers suggest things to me. So I'm very glad that Winter Wolf brought those issues up of how our Native Americans here in the United States would apply the use of turtle shells. Um, and yes, Winter Wolf hit on many of their uses. Very interesting ideas. Um, One of those may be the way I go. We'll see. Okay, Richard over at Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, he says, here's my idea. Stencil Stye North on it, and then using a Dremel or other cutting tool, cut out your name, paint or decorate the uncut portion to symbolize your channel. Can place a stick on it as a pole and stake it in the ground at a base camp or other location. And then he says, I like a lot of the other ideas, but haven't seen that one yet. Well, Richard over at Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, love the guy, he's great. He did a shout out for me, and he took a piece, it almost looked like a piece of driftwood, and he stenciled Stye North on it, and he had it sitting on a campfire, a burning campfire, and he did this shout out for me, and that was the background, and it was just beautiful. It was just great. I mean, it was an awesome shout out video. One of my favorites. So that doesn't surprise me that he came up with that idea. And I really do like that idea of using that shell as maybe a symbolism of my channel. And that takes me back to Winter Wolf's discussion about Native Americans and the way they view turtle shells, and the fact that to Native Americans it represents longevity, health, and prosperity. And especially longevity and health, are big issues with me right now. I'm not ready to go, and my health definitely needs to improve. So Richard, I really like that idea. You're really itching close to the top of what I'll do with this shell with that one. But we're not done yet. Rick Harris, he says, well, what comes to my mind as of now is a rain collecting shell for drinking water in the woods. And it says, fresh drinking water is a must. If it is okay, I would like to think a little bit and see what else comes to mind. And he says, and I hope you're having a great night. Get rest, friend. He's referring to after I had my heart attack. Great idea, Rick. Great idea. Water collection in certain conditions can be difficult. And that shell, yes, I can see how you could utilize that and set it up maybe as a two-stage water collection. And you've got an area about this big around that you can collect water. It's big enough that it'll collect a lot of rainfall. And if you have another container that it can run from it into another container, just think how much water you could actually collect using that shell. And you could probably put lashings on it and hang it from a tree, or make a tripod and using the top of the tripod, have it resting in the top of the tripod. So that's a very good idea. Okay, now, Wheels Gone Wild. He says, I have never done up a snapper before. You know this shell would be perfect for putting your hot rocks on to move under your bed to keep warm at night. The shell is heat resistant, so we'll be able to take the rocks with no problem. Fill it with hot rocks and slide it under your bed. And then he says, try making a sink or basin out of it. A bushcraft sink, in other words. Make a stand and use it to put, okay, basically he's saying to make a stand and use it for washing up in when in camp. It says try to make some kind of instrument out of it to play at camp. Here we go with the guitar, mandolin, ukulele type idea. Try stretching some strings across it and playing it like a violin, but you compress the shell to change the note. It says stretch some leather over it to make a cool drum. Now I can see that. I could see stretching some rawhide over it, letting the rawhide, stretch some damp rawhide over it and let it cure, getting the firm surface, and you could make a pretty interesting drum out of a turtle shell. His first idea, though, using it to move hot rocks into your bed. Now if you have a fire pit, well, my camera timed out again. Well, I'm getting back to Wheels Gone Wild here, and the discussion of using the shell for moving hot rocks. Now, if you warm your rocks up around your fire pit and use those to warm your camp bed, very good idea, works very well, holds heat for a long time. One of the problems is moving those rocks to your bed. He's right that the shell is heat resistant. Now I have seen before a person had used a tortoise shell, which is more of a bowl shape, and they've actually boiled water in it. It was quite interesting how they did it. So I can see that the application of heating those stones, putting them in the shell, and being able to pick that shell up and bring it to your bed and slide that bugger in your bed, especially down at the foot of your bed. Oh, that would feel so good. So, and then the stones are contained in that shell. You can take them out, just grab the shell, pull them out, put them back around your fire pit, put some fresh ones in, slide those in. So I can see that application. It really, really makes sense. And making a sink basin out of it. Again, make a frame, maybe a small tripod frame, have it sitting in that tripod frame, and having it as a wash basin or as a prep basin. That's a great idea also. Okay, next one, Flat Broke Frank. I like the empty chair, makes me want to sit with you a while, he says. I would make the old turtle into a trug. Okay, for folks that don't know what a trug is, you can look it up. There's videos out there for making trugs. All a trug is a basket, basically. It's another form of basket. So we're back to the making a basket out of it and using it for carrying items or foraging or collecting things. The nice thing with that idea is that you can put things in it, put them in a shelter in your camp, and they're not sitting on the ground. They're in a container, and the longevity of it, it can be reused hundreds and hundreds of times. Very good idea. Thanks, Flat Broke Frank. Okay. Joshua Ritzheimer. He says, I think cleaning out the shell and using it for a rain catcher or a dough bowl, foraging container, basin, and to add rigidity to your pack are all good uses. Very good ideas. Dough bowl, I like that one. Now if I can get that ground out smooth enough, so it's a nice smooth interior bowl, I can see using that as a mixing bowl, and for making bannock in, it would be very, I mean, it'd be very nice, and you could wash it out just like any other bowl. Very good ideas. Okay, Wicklow Wolf. I turn it into a fruit basket for the kitchen or sitting room table. That'd be a great conversation piece. Things like this, now like if you take that shell and you finish it, and you put a nice clear coat finish on it, and you used it as a fruit basket, and you had it in your home, and you have company come over and visit, and you're chatting away, and you may have individuals that just never get outdoors, and or they just don't know the bigger world out there. They'll see that shell full of fruit and they'll go, now what in the world is that? What is that? Now you've got a story to tell. So it's a very good application, actually. Okay, L. Becklick. Ashes bucket for fireplace or camper, he says. Okay, that's another good application. If you have, let's say you have a hot tent and you've got a wood stove in it. After a few days, you've got to clean the ashes out of those small little wood stoves. It doesn't take long for the ash base to build up in those. And cleaning those out can be a real pain in the neck. They really can, because a lot of times in the winter when you're camping and you're in a hot tent, it's hard to clean those stoves out without taking the stove pipe off and hauling the stove outside and dumping it. Using that turtle shell, you could take a turtle shell like that and just have it sitting on the floor of your hot tent near your stove, and when you need to clean it out, you can clean it out into that turtle shell, take it outside and dump it. Very good idea. Okay, the annoying thing outdoors. It says, well, it's not exactly a bushcraft tool, but if the kids play guitar, it would be a fun thing to see it as one. He says, I have no idea how it would sound, though, but they caught the turtle, so they might like something like that. In a way, it might interest them in what you do a little bit more. Perhaps a cool Christmas gift. And he does state, I know the idea is already posted. I just wanted to give you my thoughts. And then suggested a heart might be easier. So make a harp out of it. To do. Yeah. Very interesting. Okay. Now Terry Milborn. T.W. Milborn. It says, okay, that shell would be the perfect size for making a snow skidder. Just strap it in the hiney on your backside and let the fun begin. And then he says, I can see you scooting down the hill as we speak. Terry, as I responded to him, I said, very good idea, Terry. Yeah, I can see how you could slide down a hill sitting on that shell. I told him, now all I have to do is come up with a second one, and him and I have to get together. My good friend Terry hails from Canada, and I told him, I said, I just got to find a second shell, and then him and I can have turtle races this winter. Get real, Terry, come on. He's trying to kill me. I told him, I said, you just know, suggest it, and style probably do it. I think I'm going to skip that one for this winter, though. I'm supposed to be recovering from this heart surgery, so thanks, Terry. That's a good idea, but I don't think I'm going to give that a shot right now. Unless, of course, he wants to meet up and we'll have races. Okay, Steve Clues, skateboard. Great for getting past straight concrete roads quickly. Um, if that doesn't work for you, how about flattening it out, attaching a bean bag, and make yourself a lap tray? Now that's kind of interesting. If you flatten that shell out, which you can steam them, boil it, put weight on it, flatten that shell completely out. And then if you auled holes all the way around and stitched on like a thin beanbag bottom to it, you could make a nice lap tray for just like they use for sitting there eating your TV dinner while watching the tube. It's a pretty good idea, actually. The skateboard, yeah, I could see it, but this old boy, I know I'll crash and burn. Okay, Walter Day says, I think it would be good as gathering bucket and wash basin. Gather your herbs and berries in it in the morning and wash up in the evening. Again, some kind of carrying basket or container. A lot of people like that idea. Okay, Dutch Prepper. He says, an armored backpack? Question mark with a smiley face. We're back to making a backpack, an armored backpack. Interesting. Okay, Shelley Pangborn says, well, I think you could drill some holes in it and use it as a sieve, or you could use it as a Betty lamp, possibly hang it over your kitchen table as a source of light. You could even use candles instead of grease or oil. And Shelley says, those were my husband's suggestions, by the way, and I think he's quite brilliant. LOL. Well, Shelley, you have a very lucky and fortunate husband that you think that highly of him. And kudos out to you, Shelley. And very good ideas, very good ideas. I had kind of thought under the same theory of making like a chandelier and hanging it and wiring it, but actually making an oil type lamp and or a candle holder lamp is nice, unique application of the shelf. Thanks for that one, Shelley. Okay, Dean S. says, I'm a hands-on type and I don't have a snapping turtle shell handy, but what about using pieces of the shell as a knife handle? Put a piece on each side of the steel, and if it's not thick enough, put it over the wood. Now, I don't know how well the glue or epoxy would hold, but I think it would make a very unique handle for a knife and a matching fire steel, like a handle for a ferro rod or for a fire steel. Good ideas, good ideas. And I'm thinking for a knife handle, if I get my hands on another shell, I might try applying that to an old knife I have. Okay, and then Boyd Stone, he says, glue the shells together with a stick and small pebbles for a rattle like the Indians made. Decorate it with fur and horsehair and beads. Go Indian on me. Ha ha, Boyd says. All right, now I've seen many native turtle rattles, and they usually use small, what we call painted turtles. Their shells are usually only about that big around. And they'll take two of them and they'll put pebbles in them, and then they attach the two together with the backs facing out, of course, with a handle on them. And they make excellent ceremonial rattles. They're beautiful. They're just beautiful. But this shell, now if I had another one that size, holy smokes, that'd be a two-handed rattle and they'd be hearing you 3 miles away. But it's a very good idea. If I had smaller shells, I would definitely probably make a ceremonial rattle because they're beautiful when they're done. But those are the comments that I got, those suggestions I got. I put this video up 2 weeks ago, and I got that many comments and that many ideas. Now I'm tearing these ideas apart and I'm applying them and putting them together, and I'm going to come up with something. And once I've made my decision, I'll let you folks know, and then we'll try to watch the progresses and we'll see how we can apply this. And like I had said in my video, if I can apply it in 2 or 3 different ways, I'm going to do that. Get as much out of this shell as I can. So there you go. That's everybody's comments. Um, if people want to keep commenting on the Turtle Project, please do. Any new ideas? Right up until the day I start working on it, every idea is a good idea. So I just love the fact that you all responded so well. Great ideas. You're all great, great YouTube friends out there. So this is Stein North. Thanks for participating, and we'll keep you updated as this project moves forward. So with that, you all have a nice day. Bye-bye.